Trying not to spill it. This is a CBD matcha with perfectly steamed milk, might I add. I've been absolutely obsessed with my steamer wand on my coffee machine. Like, I've been going crazy for a bit of latte art, and I must say I'm fantastic. I am. First thing to note, this is not herpes. It's just a spot I had on my lip that I popped, and it's now a scab, so it doesn't look great. Okay. Oh my god, guys, I just filmed a video just now, and then I went to upload it onto my laptop, and the file said 0 bytes. This keeps happening to me. The worst things happen to the best people. So basically, the file can't upload onto my laptop, so I'm gonna film it again now, right now. Very authentic. Pretend it's the first time I'm doing this. I'm no longer drinking a matcha. This is now just a green tea. But where do I start, guys? Oh, let's not have this be demonetized. Okay, no, I have not forgotten how to film. You don't forget this shit. Some things you just don't forget. Once an attention seeker, always an attention seeker. And I'm sort of like, I'm still used to being on camera. I never really stopped doing that because I was always on my Instagram, still updating my stories and things like that. So while I was on a little hiatus from YouTube, I've still been like doing stuff to a camera. So like, I don't feel weird doing this. It might feel weird for you to see me doing this, but you know, what else? Basically, what happened? No big deal, but I just sort of lost my desire to be online. Like, I wasn't really fulfilled with the whole social media thing. I didn't feel like doing content and just being a public figure online as a job was very fulfilling or necessary, and it didn't make me feel good about myself. So long story short, I just wasn't enjoying being chronically online. I know. Can you believe it? I know. But so I took a step back, and I started working with my boyfriend. He has like an eatery, like cafe up in Greater Manchester, so I was sort of working as front of house there, still doing bits and pieces online, but like not to the extent that I was before. And that made me gain an appreciation for having the creative freedom that I used to have being a creative online. And I've sort of got my flair back, sort of got me zest for creating, cooking, baking and shit back. Yeah, so here I am again, once again, coming to you direct. Sip. Do what? Whoa, why is it floral? It's spearmint green tea. So that's that. I've worked in hospitality previously, like before I ever even started doing this whole online thing. And when you're working under a boss, you don't really have the creative liberties or chances or freedoms to really experiment and express yourself. And I feel like I need that. Like, I've always been really creative. I've been filming and editing things since I was like a wee little giblet. Like, I'd make home videos and movies, and like I'd always, sorry, little throat thing there. I'd always be recording myself and sort of doing that, and I can't wait to get back editing. I've been craving sitting behind a laptop and like splicing things together on the computer. I just like that freedom, even if it is quite lonely and solitary as a job. I think I do like creating content, is what I've come to realize. But I did go through a little lull where I felt very worthless, and it didn't feel good to me. It didn't feel satisfying. I don't know. You probably saw that reflected in the stuff I was making as well. Not to do myself down. It was always quality stuff, but it didn't really have the pizzazz behind it that it once did, because I just lost the passion for it. Anyway, ramble over. I'm gonna make a quick little video, just a little video about, bright, innit? Little wellness habits that I used to do that I would just not do now. Things that I regret doing, wellness-wise, and things that I would advise you not to do and to try and avoid. From my subjective experience, I am not a scientist. I do not actually know about these things. I'm just trying to go about my life and be happy and live in the best way that I can. Okay, this is wibbly wobbling everywhere, all over the place. The first thing, I came across a video of mine that I made a few years ago about fasting, intermittent fasting.
I tried intermittent fasting for 3 weeks and you won't believe the results.
Oh my god, I can't believe I ever did that. I personally don't think it's good or beneficial for women to fast, just because women's hormones work on a month cycle, whereas men is like a 24-hour cycle. So I don't think it's necessarily conducive for a woman to go large periods of time without sustenance or without feeding themselves, because it makes the body harder. It makes it harder to regulate the hormones inside the body. Am I talking out my arse? Maybe. But I just know that I didn't feel good long term doing intermittent fasting, and I think it was just a silly little fad, a very silly little fad. You may do it and you may feel great from it. Go you do you. Steamroll, full steam ahead. Let's go intermittent fasting. But beside like immediate effects is, oh look, I'm not bloating, which felt great at the time. It's because there was nothing in your bloody belly. There were nothing in your tummy to make you bloat. You're depleting all the nutrients from your body when you go too long without eating. I just find I just run better when I have consistent meals, and when I intermittent fast, I feel more lethargic. A lot of brain fog. Obviously I don't have the energy. Same thing's lethargic. That's one thing I wouldn't do. Let me know if you have a different experience. Yeah, I like eating upon waking and getting the body moving, getting that metabolism started. Oh, there's people on the balcony. Can they see me? I can see them. The second thing, this sparkly forehead is fantastic, isn't it? It's a fantastic way to come back, I'll be honest. Putting me best face forward. Okay lads, the next thing, fibre. Oh my god, too much fibre. I came across a photo of a meal, I'm gonna say meal in inverted commas, that I had a few years ago. And what it was like broccoli burgers made with probably chickpea flour and onions and a few spices. Like, it probably tasted good in all fairness, knowing me. With a side of roasted chickpeas. What? You know, veggies are great. They're fantastic, full of micronutrients. But you can have too much of a good thing. And basing your whole meal around vegetables, it's not great. Because it doesn't actually, first of all, it won't satiate you in the way that you think it will. Like, it will make you full, but it's not going to satiate you. Two different things, two very different things. I just feel like if it was more balanced, if it had a good source of like protein there. Protein, could be lean source of protein like chicken, then with a side of like healthy fats, nice maybe olive oil dressing, or even like some toasted nuts on top, seeds. You know, the traditional balanced meal. I'm not going to go over the whole thing because I feel like we all know this by now. We all know what makes balanced meal. And having a plate full of veggies isn't balanced. It's too much fibre, and it wasn't actually making me feel good. It wasn't really giving me energy. All it was doing, it was giving my body lots of hard work to do and trying to digest it and break it all down. So it was making me tired because my body was going in overdrive trying to digest this bloody food, digest this bloody mountain of grass, which is why I sort of don't really eat that plant-based anymore. In fact, I'd say the majority of my diet is probably animal proteins, I'll be honest. I haven't really shown an example. I love butter and stuff like that. I love me carbohydrates. I love potatoes so much. So back to the fibre thing, too much fibre. It's obviously great to have lots of flora and fauna, to diversify your gut microbiome because they feed off each other and help create a good balance in the gut. But you can fall into the trap of like overdosing on your greens and your veg. Good to an extent, but may not make you feel the best in the long run. You want to get energy from your food. You don't want your food to zap you of energy. But yeah, definitely still eat vegetables. My God, I don't want this to come across the wrong way. Okay, so that's that. And good for you if you do eat lots of veggies. I'll still get down with a little vegetable snack, like a whole plate of crudités with some hummus on the side. That can all be vegetables, and that'll feel good and nice and refreshing for me. Like carroty, bell peppers, cucumbers, yum, delicious. Tomatoes, I'd devour tomatoes, fruit. Interesting. The next little wellness hole that I fell into was being gluten-free. That's something that I will never, ever do again. It made me miserable. Like, why did I do that? Why did I deprive myself of something that I knew I loved? I knew I loved it, so why was I not letting myself have it? There was a lot of fear-mongering, scaremongering around the idea of gluten being really hard to digest, not being good for you, being really inflammatory. Yeah, if you're gluten, like, intolerant, if you're celiac, I'm a regular, bread-loving human being. I need it. And it was probably causing me a lot of stress and anxiety trying to avoid it. So that would be more detrimental to my health than actually eating the gluten would be. Because even if it is bad for you, even if it is slightly inflammatory for the gut or whatever, it wouldn't be causing me as much mental stress and turmoil as like having to avoid it caused me. And I know I sound like I'm being dramatic, but it caused me stress because I was like, oh, well, I can't eat that. I clearly can't eat that. And it would make me miserable and stressed out. And
I love gluten.
I was at a little event the other day and they had canapes. They brought around little burger sliders, which honestly, they look like Krabby Patties. amazing. They had like coloured buns. One of them was green, and in all honesty, it looked like the nasty patty, but in a good way. Like, as in I wanted to eat it, and I did eat it, and because I don't have labels. Do you know what I mean? How fantastic is that? They weren't that nice in the end, but that's beside the point. A lot of the replacements for gluten are just like so, first of all, not nice tasting, so overcomplicated. They're packed with other ingredients that try to make up for the lack of gluten. Like, I can't think of an example, but if you look at the ingredients on gluten-free bread, it's got like 1,000 different flours with some gums to try and bind it, leavening agents to make it rise, and you just think, leavening agents, is that the right word? And you just think, how is this any better? How is this any better? This also sort of leads me on to another wellness shtick, another classic, which is avoidance of dairy. Stay away from dairy. I fell into that sort of wellness group hole that was convinced that it was super bad for you, you know? And this is ignoring like dairy practices and exploitation of cows and stuff like that, which is honestly another subject that you can shout at me for in a different video. But for now, I'm just talking about the nutritional value of dairy and like the whole anti-dairy war. And I realised that I actually love dairy. I've always loved dairy. I've been a dairy girl my whole life. I love butter. I love a good full fat Greek yogurt. Oh my god, because like it's got great fats, proteins in it. It's really satiating. It makes me feel good. And a lot of these alternatives didn't make me feel as good, and they wouldn't fill me up in the same way. I wasn't getting like nutrition from them. Like, if you think of a dairy alternative spread, it's just like, it's just oils solidified, whereas butter tastes way nicer. Oh my goodness me. Maybe a bit higher in saturated fat, yes, but yummy, and I like that. It's just butter. I know what it is. I know where it's coming from. But you know, I'm not anti-spreads. I'm not anti-anything. I'll still eat like the margarines and stuff, just whatever's convenient for me. Convenience is a huge deal. I just like not having labels. The freedom around food is the most important thing to me in the world, and I wouldn't swap it for anything. I'm not any label. I am just human before anything else. I'm not defined by my diet. And almond milk does not taste nice. Like in coffee. Why the hell was I drinking a black coffee with a splash of almond milk? No! I would rather a cow's milk flat white. Get me that right now. I mean it. I'm a Greek yogurt fiend. Like I said, I go hard for fake. Let's think of another thing, because there are heaps of things I used to do. Using oat flour for everything, that was a bit bonkers, wasn't it? A bit of a crazy time. I used to think they were just a magical cure-all ingredient, and I put no ingredient on a pedestal. I put no food above anything else, and I used to do that with oats all the time. Like you saw when I was in my oat phase. Holy hell. Every day for breakfast. And they just made me super sleepy. I thought they were incredible, because I was like, oh my god, I can use them for flour. I can use them as milk. I can use them to bind recipes. I just over-reliance on oats. They're still yummy. I love ready breck. Oh my god, delish. It sort of leads itself into finding healthy alternatives for everything. So like if I wanted a cake, I'd like, oh my god, let me make an oat flour cake.
Let me do that right now.
When it just wasn't necessary. So in a similar vein, I would implore you to avoid restricting yourself from the things that you want in place of finding healthy alternatives. I mean, a good thing in moderation if you know that you can't like resist overindulging on stuff, so you make an alternative. But I find, for me, that I can just eat the thing that I'm craving and then walk away from it, leave it. I'm satisfied, I've had it, I know what it tastes like, and then I can just go back to eating more nutritious stuff. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, I'm not hyperfixated on it. I'm not focused on it because I've had it. I don't think about it anymore. Okay, another thing that I was super duper into was forcing myself to go on a walk after every meal to like improve my digestion. And I don't want this to come across the wrong way, because it's a fantastic habit to have, and like going on walks is immeasurably beneficial because it gets your blood moving, it gets the glucose moving around your body, helps you digest things, it does. But I would force myself when I was exhausted. I was like, I need to do this, and it would make me feel super guilty if I didn't, and that is terrible. That is worse for me than going on a walk. On top of it, like I wouldn't have been fueled enough for my walk, because I would have eaten something that just didn't fill me up, didn't satiate me, didn't make me feel good, and then be like, right, let's go on a walk now, let's get this stuff digested, even though I wasn't actually satisfied or like fueled up enough from what I'd just eaten. And I was like, okay, right, let's go on a walk now, because I've had the food, time to digest it. But again, I don't want this to come across the wrong way, because I do think that going on walks is super duper good. I'm honestly not sure about the point I'm making, because it is great to go outside. It's always beneficial to go outside, and it's good for your mental health as well, to just get some fresh air and shit like that. I don't want this to sound silly, And like nowadays I do love going on a walk, but that's because I have the sustenance in my body and the drive to do it, and it's not out of guilt or anything. I used to make myself do it when I was exhausted, shattered, underfueled, because I would just be eating like portions that I saw other people eat, and I'd replicate that because I'd think that there was a one size fits all, that, you know, all women must eat like this. That must be the way. Let's try one more thing. Cold showers, not for me. No, I'm not built that way. That's about it. I'm gonna leave it there. If I think about any more wellness things that I used to do that I like wish I never did or regret doing, then I'll let you know. I will let you know. And if you have any ideas of videos that you want to see from me, let me know and I'll get on that, because I am, like I said, feeling creative these days and wanting to make stuff for you and feeling like I have a purpose again and drive to do things. Oh my god, that was inspirational. It's miserable outside, which is making me less happy, but I'm trying not to let the weather determine my whole mood. I think I took for granted the freedom that you have when you work for yourself, and sort of how much I need this out there in my life. All you need to know is I'm very happy. I think. Peace and love. I love you so much, I really do. Guys, I still love BTS. I don't know if you can see Namjoon in the back of this phone case. This is from Casetify. They sent me this, thank you very much. How sick. Snakes. What I'm trying to say is Stream 7 by Jungkook, the love of my life. Anyway, love you so much.